From the point of view of Darth Vader in A New Hope, Luke is nothing more than an unknown pilot for the Rebel Alliance, albeit one who he finds to be strong in the Force. However, by the time of The Empire Strikes Back, 3 years after Luke destroyed the first Death Star, Vader has fully discovered the truth about Luke's identity, and accepts the fact that he's his son. The discovered truth saw Luke's perception of the galaxy, and his place within it, come crumbling down. And as we'll see, the realization for Vader that Luke was his son also had profound effects on him, wherein the discovery most likely completely altered his destiny. And as the non-canon expert, I can certainly relate to how a bit of new information can completely alter your conceptualization of the universe, and your place within it. But how was Vader able to discover that Luke was his son, in the 3 years between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back? In this video expose, I will explain how Darth Vader discovered that Luke was his son not long after the events of A New Hope, after both coming face to face with Luke, and with the assistance of one of the galaxy's best bounty hunters. Only a few weeks after the Battle of Yavin, and the Empire's devastating loss of the Death Star, Darth Vader was summoned to Psi Moon 1, a moon within the Corellian Industrial Cluster. The moon was the location of Weapons Factory Alpha, the largest weapons factory in the entire galaxy. Vader's presence was necessary on the moon, as he was to force an arrangement with an envoy representing Jabba the Hutt, whereby they would supply the factory with necessary raw materials via space controlled by the Hutts. Upon his arrival, Vader was informed by the factory's overseer that the main reactor of the factory was in meltdown. Vader was sure that the rebels were somehow involved, and put the entire moon on alert. However, Vader also felt the presence of the rebel pilot who was responsible for the destruction of the Death Star, who he had felt was strong in the Force, but who was still unknown to him. When he entered the factory, Vader came face to face with Luke, and the two engaged in lightsaber combat. During their duel, Vader was able to take Luke's lightsaber, although he did recognize that Luke had been trained by his former master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Due to the fact that Luke was not willing to provide him with any information regarding the Rebel Alliance, Vader readied to kill the rebel pilot. However, as he was about to execute Luke, he recognized that the lightsaber the boy was using had once belonged to him, causing him to hesitate. At that point, the foot of an AT-AT, which had been commandeered by the rebels, came crashing down between Vader and Luke, thereby separating them. Luke was able to retreat amidst the chaos by stealing a speeder bike, which he then used to attack the Imperial forces. Having seen the maneuver executed by Luke, Vader realized that he had grossly underestimated the boy. Vader was then able to incapacitate the AT-AT by slashing at its legs with his lightsaber, as the agents within the factory successfully defused the reactor. He then directed the arriving reinforcements to track down and locate the rebels present on the moon, including Han, Leia, and Chewbacca, as he pursued Luke, who was making his way into the factory. Although Vader entered the factory, Luke was able to destroy the facility's power core using the stolen speeder bike, thereby causing its complete destruction. As Vader witnessed Luke escaping upon the Millennium Falcon, he declared that he would determine the boy's identity once and for all, and turn him to the dark side. Soon after the destruction of Weapons Factory Alpha, Vader traveled to Jabba the Hutt's palace on Tatooine. Initially upon their meeting, Jabba attempted to claim the bounty placed upon Vader. However, Vader was able to kill the bounty hunters attacking him, and after force choking Jabba, the Hutt gave up on trying to collect the bounty and agreed to Vader's request of providing him with 2 of his best bounty hunters. Later that same day, Vader was approached by the 2 bounty hunters that were provided to him by Jabba, Boba Fett and a Wookiee named Black Krrsantan. While he tasked the Wookiee to find a mysterious agent working for his master Darth Sidious, Vader assigned Fett with locating the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star and to bring the boy to him alive. As instructed by Vader, Fett immediately began searching for the pilot, utilizing the only information that he was given, that the boy was connected to both Obi-Wan and the smuggling ship the Millennium Falcon. Recognizing that there was a connection between the Falcon and the smuggler Han Solo, the bounty hunter decided to start his search in Mos Eisley, and began looking for any information associated with Obi-Wan. Fett's early efforts only provided him with unproductive leads and dead ends, pushing him to search within Mos Eisley's cantina. Having entered the cantina and obtaining the attention of every criminal inside, Fett announced that he was not going to leave until one of the patrons informed him of the name of the rebel pilot. As it was being explained to Fett that no one present knew who the pilot was, and all the information that he received was merely that the boy was in the cantina recently alongside Obi-Wan, a young boy, roughly the same age as Luke, attempted to escape from the cantina and dashed towards the exit, causing Fett to prevent his escape by tripping him with his fiber cord. Although the boy swore that he had no information of value, Fett suspected otherwise and interrogated him to try to extract the information he wanted. Eventually, the boy admitted to knowing of the rebel pilot, and in addition to providing Fett with his background on Tatooine, he turned over his name, Luke Skywalker. Having been given the information that he wanted, Fett killed the boy and boarded his ship in order to travel to Obi-Wan's home on Tatooine, expecting that Luke would return there. Luke ultimately did return to Tatooine to visit Obi-Wan's home, having determined that it was not safe to continue to be part of missions undertaken by the Rebel Alliance after their close escape from Cymoon 1. Looking for guidance and answers, Luke entered Obi-Wan's home and located a box that was addressed to him. However, before he could open it to review its contents, Boba Fett threw a flash grenade into the home, which incapacitated and temporarily blinded Luke. Although he couldn't see, Luke ignited his lightsaber and fought back against the bounty hunter. Fett was able to gain the advantage over Luke, and as he was close to killing him with his own lightsaber, Luke was saved by R2-D2 when the droid hurled the box Luke had previously located at Fett, rendering him unconscious. This allowed Luke and R2 to board their X-Wing and escape from the planet. When Fett regained consciousness, he determined that he should report to Darth Vader and inform him of the preceding events. Having traveled to a Star Destroyer that Vader was present upon, the bounty hunter informed Vader that he confronted the rebel pilot, but he was able to escape. However, Fett told a disappointed Vader that he was also able to discover the boy's name, Luke Skywalker. Upon hearing the name given to him by Boba Fett, Vader began remembering Padme telling him that she was pregnant on Coruscant, as well as Palpatine informing him that he had killed Padme. Recognizing the deception that had transpired, and putting together the truth of the situation, Vader became enraged, and in his anger, cracked the viewport that he'd been looking out of. Vader then vowed that the boy, who he accepted as his son, would be his. So there we have it. How Darth Vader discovered that Luke was his son through events that took place between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for Wookiee Bounty Hunter.